Hey, what's up everybody? Chris here, and it's time for another physical media pickups video. And so over the month of March, I picked up a number of 4K discs, a number of just standard Blu-rays, things like that. Not too much stuff, but just a few that I thought would be worth highlighting. Again, as I mentioned with my February pickups video, really just to draw attention to physical media, right? Just to advocate for it as a medium. I've talked about this before. I don't think that it's dying. I think that it's evolving and becoming more of a niche thing. But anyway, I know a lot of people who watch this channel enjoy physical media in the way that I do. So let me just kind of go through that with you. I couldn't resist getting this and then another one of these films that was right along with this. But this is Raiders of the Lost Ark on 4K. So another review that I might do soon involves my new TV setup. So in this room that I'm in, I picked up an LG C3 OLED TV, and it was discounted a little bit because I think the C4 would be the next one in the series that's coming out in a few months. It sounds like it was $100 off at Best Buy. And when I got that TV, this is the first 4K disc that I watched. And you'll notice here, you can tell this actually by sort of the parental rating on it. This is actually I think region 2, the European version of it. Now with 4K discs, they're region free, so it doesn't really matter. I could not find the standalone Raiders in the North American version, so I got the European version. It's the same disc, but it looks fantastic. But this is the first thing that I watched on this new OLED, and I gotta tell you, the colors just popped amazingly. Having gone from a traditional kind of LED TV to an OLED is just actually kind of mind-blowing. You know, you've probably seen these in Best Buy and maybe Target and places like that, but to have the setup calibrated correctly and to get a high quality picture, you know, with it, especially with a classic film like this that's done right with the 4K transfer, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, just the subtle greens and browns in the jungle at the beginning of the movie and other parts as it sort of progresses, it really did look absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, I had to get Raiders on 4K because I've got the standard Blu-ray set. I had thought about buying, I think, the sort of 4-disc, you know, it included Raiders, Temple, Last Crusade, and Crystal Skull, the sort of white box set, the steelbook set on somewhere like Macari. But this was available for a pretty good deal on Amazon, and so I went ahead and picked it up, and yeah, it looks amazing. My other favorite Indiana Jones movie is Last Crusade. Picked that up on 4K. Also looks really great in the format. Now, I have not yet watched this since I got the OLED. I watched it when I had my previous TV, the LED. It looked really good on that. I can only imagine it's going to look better now that I have this set up. But yeah, had to get this. It's my second favorite of the Indiana Jones movies. I think they're all great, which I know is somewhat controversial to say. I even like Crystal Skull. I thought Dial of Destiny was really good. I've got that on 4K also, but I had to get this one. Even though I do enjoy Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull, I don't feel the need to have those on 4K because really these are the two that I watch the most. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. So for the money and for the deal that I got on both of these, I was totally fine buying them separately. I have not yet watched this, but I saw in a Criterion video, actually I think it was 2 separate Criterion videos where they have celebrities come in, people like Willem Dafoe, that sort of stuff, and talk about their favorite movies and sort of pick things out of the closet. A number of people pointed to Being There as just one of those really good kind of feel-good movies to have on hand if you're just having a tough time or a bad day or whatever, something you can come back to. So I do plan on watching this soon. I don't know a ton about it other than what I've read on IMDb, but I'm happy to have it in the collection. I think it's going to be, you know, a good film, a bit of film history too to sort of dive into. So yeah, I picked it up and added it to my collection. I had been wanting to see this forever, The Last Temptation of Christ. So I saw that it was available for a pretty good price on Amazon as part of the Criterion Collection, so I got it, and I watched it. And I gotta say, you know, going into it, I thought, well, this is going to be highly controversial. And I mean, despite the fact that you've got Willem Dafoe playing Jesus, who, you know, obviously that's not what Jesus would have looked like at all. But he does a phenomenal job with this movie. Really, everybody in it does a great job. And I think what Scorsese was doing here was not trying to necessarily make something controversial. And this was adapted from a book, as I understand it, but to give us maybe a different perspective on how things might have played out with Jesus. I mean, the ending of it, I think, is where the most controversy comes in. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil anything here. But I thought it was super well done. It's one that I will watch again. I liked it that much. I wasn't 100% sure if I would like it that much. In fact, I was kind of hesitant to pay the money to actually own it, because one of my philosophies with physical media is I want to be buying things that I know I'm going to watch more than once, and I wasn't sure about that, but I'm glad I've got it. It was kind of a safe bet because I typically like Scorsese stuff anyway, and this subject material for me just really stood out, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I pre-ordered the steelbook of this, which has got the slip cover that comes off, and I think it actually looks better without the cover on it. This is Event Horizon, where you've got sort of the eyeball on both sides, but the slip cover is kind of cool also. Even though it makes it look like a zombie movie, which it's not, Kim and I did a review of Event Horizon not long ago, and I'll put an info card in this video for that. It's got the actual ship on the back. This is a great kind of overlooked, for a lot of people, piece of science fiction horror. It's kind of a cult classic these days, I think. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I revisited it enough to where I thought, I want to have a 4K version of this. And I think I had the DVD before. Now I've got it on 4K. I think the transfer of it is okay. It's not super great. I mentioned that in my review that Kim and I did. But I'm happy to have it in the higher resolution format. And I think just the packaging of this is super cool. If you've never seen Event Horizon, totally worth it if you like sci-fi horror. But just know that you're in for a wild ride. And there's a fabled... Well, I guess it doesn't really exist, but people have talked about a fabled director's cut that has even more footage that's even more insane somewhere out there. But this is a great movie. I have this on Blu-ray, but when I was in Walmart not long ago, I saw that they had a 4K steelbook of it, and I had always wanted to upgrade it. Now that I have this OLED TV, I think this is going to look awesome on this. I might watch it tonight, actually. Dread. Carl Urban, if you've seen this version of it, I love this movie. I remember when this came out, I didn't know much about it other than the Stallone version that had been released in the 90s, which I saw way back when. I watched this one night and I fell in love with it. I just think it's a really, really super understated, not understated, that's not the word I'm looking for, super underappreciated for a lot of people piece of sci-fi action. It's just so well made. I hope they make a sequel to it eventually, but Dread is awesome. I haven't taken the wrapping off of this yet, but you can see just sort of the packaging of it. I think it looks really nice. Dread is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of the past, 10, 15 years, however long it's been. It's not perfect at all, but I think what it does and what it aims for, which is kind of a grotesque, darkly comedic tone that's meant to be super gritty and to mirror, as I understand it, what's in the comic books, it does that really well. So I really enjoy this film a lot. As we approached St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to revisit Leprechaun. Now, I have not taken the wrapper off this yet. I've seen the original Leprechaun a few different times, but that's about it. Like, I think I've seen bits and pieces of the other ones, but I've always wanted to see Leprechaun 4 in space, because why not? And I'm going to watch this soon. Leprechaun, what is it? Back to the Hood, Leprechaun in the Hood. There's an Origins movie here. But this is every Leprechaun film. I got this on Amazon, and it's, let's see, 7 movies. And I think I paid like $15 for it, all in one Blu-ray package. So like, how can you go wrong with that, right? I mean, all of them obviously are not going to be worth going back and seeing again. But when St. Patrick's Day comes around, I tend to watch these enough to warrant owning this. And I didn't have it in physical format before this. So I picked it up. I'm glad I got it. And yeah, this is a good one to have. This is an amazing comedy. You know, I don't know that I would say it's my favorite comedy ever made. I think Dumb and Dumber or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles are kind of at the top of my list for that. But just the dumb humor in this, the writing in this, the characters, the acting, the Big Lebowski is great. I didn't own this in any kind of physical format prior to picking this up on Amazon. I think it was on sale for like $11 or $12 or something like that. So I don't know anything about how good the video quality is. I'm going to watch it soon and I'll find out. Usually I go to somewhere like bluray.com to kind of see what sort of grade or rating they get it to know if it's worth it. But for the price that it was on sale for, I thought it was worthwhile. So I've got it. You got to love the Big Lebowski. My most recent pickup is the 10 Commandments, and everything that I've heard about the 4K version of this is that it is just phenomenal. It is just stellar, color-wise, everything else. It's a huge, Cecil B. DeMille, epic movie, Charlton Heston. I have seen it many times before, but never in 4K and never on an OLED, which I have the setup for now. So I am really curious to go back and rewatch this and see if it actually does live up to all the hype that I've heard about how good this version of the movie is. So if you've got it and you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments about it. But I'm super excited to go back and rewatch this sometime soon. Anyway, those were all of my discs that I've picked up recently. Not a ton of stuff, but slowly but surely I'm adding things that I think are worthwhile to the collection. If you've got a growing Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray collection, let me know what you've added recently down in the comments below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.